So the last time you saw me sitting behind the wheel of this truck, I was on my way to go and pick up the Vectrex VX1. That's the maxi scooter that we've just taken ownership of, and we've been making some videos on the channel about that. But when I covered the maxi scooter, I did mention that there have been some issues with the truck. And if you've watched this channel religiously, you may have noted in the recent video we did on accidents that I had a little boo-boo while driving this truck. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that have happened to this particular truck, our F-150 Lightning Lariat, which is nicknamed Adira Tal. And I will tell you some frustrations that still exist. So a couple of weeks ago, when I was heading to San Diego to film the Aptera Gamma first drive report, I had to leave my house really early in the morning. We are still trying to run the channel as leanly as possible, and the most affordable way for us to get to San Diego and back and do the filming was for us to basically fly down and back in a day, and that required us taking a very early flight from Portland and flying down to San Diego, picking up a rental car at San Diego Airport, driving to Aptera, filming with Aptera, going back to the airport and coming back here to Portland. And normally when I have to go to the airport, unless I'm carrying a huge amount of camera gear, which I wasn't, I will take my wife's Chevrolet Bolt EV because it's easier to park, it's smaller, it's more efficient. You know the stuff, we've said it before. So that particular day was a Tuesday in which my wife needed the car. So I said, okay, don't worry, I'll take the truck instead. So I backed my truck out of the driveway, as I've done hundreds of times before. And let's just blame it on it being, 3-ish in the morning and me operating on very little sleep. And I managed to successfully back my truck into the brick retaining wall that runs parallel to the road. And I managed to scratch up the rear bumper. It was a tiny scratch, well, a tiny impact. It was kind of low speed. It was enough to push the bumper slightly out of shape. And so we decided to talk to the insurance company and get the bumper repaired on a claim. Obviously, I was at fault, so I don't know how it's going to affect my insurance, but it does mean that my truck is fixed and it now looks a lot better. I've literally just picked it up from the local accident repair specialist, which is attached to my local Ford dealer. The overall repair wasn't that expensive. It was about $1,300 US. The insurance company covered like 800 and change, and I just had to pay my $500 excess, which is, not the best thing, but at the same point, it could have been a whole lot worse. And I now have my truck back in good condition. A lot of people ask why bother getting something that minor repaired, and the answer is if you are able to afford it, it's always worth getting that little bit of accident repair work done, because God forbid something happens and you need to get rid of your vehicle in a hurry. It is better to have your vehicle ready for sale than it is to have a whole bunch of things that need to be fixed before you can sell it. That's just my logic. It's always paid dividends in the past, and it certainly doesn't work the other way. We once had a smart car and we didn't keep repairs up to date, and when we handed the smart car back, it was leased, when we handed the smart car back at the end of the lease, there were a couple of scratches and dings on the car that we had to pay through the nose to fix, and we couldn't claim it on insurance. We just had to pay it outright, and that was very, very pricey. This is not leased, it is being financed, so technically the truck will eventually be mine. It's currently, I guess, the bank's and part mine, but it's always worth just spending that extra money if you can to fix it. So that done, let's talk about some of the things that have been going on with the truck. So we've had an over-the-air software update or two, and those over-the-air software updates have added some new features. Eventually, Blue Cruise, which is what this truck has, it's its answer to autopilot, or kind of quasi-autopilot, I guess, It allows you to have hands-off driving on divided lane highways, which is great, and it works really well. It is much better in curves than it used to be. It's one of the things that it was quite notorious for in its early days. But Ford is getting ready an update to Blue Cruise that will allow you to have hands-off lane change, I believe. You just kind of knock the indicator in and the truck will do the rest, which brings the system in line much more closely with what Chevrolet offers with its Super Cruise. Great, that's fantastic and it works great, but Ford has been doing updates in the background to try and get that to work. That software update, and I guess that's one of the really big reasons I'm making this video, also pushed an update to the home integration system. If you don't know, home integration is Ford's fancy system that allows you to back your home up automatically in the event of a power cut if you have the fancy $10,000 piece of hardware on the side of your house. We paid for that out of pocket because we wanted to make a video about it on the channel. It was installed in September, October last year, and it's worked automatically approximately 0 times. We've managed to get it to work manually a couple of times, but it's never worked properly from the get-go, as in the power goes off and the truck automatically powers the house, which is what it's supposed to do. The software update that was pushed recently to the truck was designed to solve an issue with the home integration system, but it wasn't the issue we were suffering. At least it wasn't one of the issues we were suffering. So the update was designed to stop the home integration system, or rather the charging station, from suddenly disconnecting the truck from the house randomly when the truck lost connection to the charging station. That connection is done over Bluetooth, by the way. And we thought that was one of the main problems that were causing issues with the truck, and it turns out that it wasn't. Because even though that update was pushed and my truck, when it does actually connect and does actually get coaxed into providing power, and there's some dancing that you have to do. You have to turn off the automatic transfer, you have to turn the power off, you then have to plug the truck in, and then you have to turn the truck on and tell it to manually provide power. And if you're lucky and you click your heels 6 times, sometimes it works, but it is still a pain in the butt. So shortly after the software update came out, the engineer that I've been working with at Ford and Sunrun, there's 2 of them, both reached out and went, hey, this should now be working. And I was like, guys, no, it's definitely not. And they were like, oh, we should come out and look at it. So the Sunrun engineer came out and he spent a whole day at the house. We went through a whole slew of tests and really annoyed my wife because we had to keep turning the mains power off. So she was running from the Pro Power on the bed of the truck, and every time you power cycle the truck, the Pro Power stops working. So we had to kind of keep resetting the power there. But long story very short was, at the end of the day, the Sunrun engineer was like, I can't do anything else without Ford's input. And Ford hasn't yet got back to us regarding whether they think the truck is at fault or the charging station is at fault. Now, I suggested to the Sunrun engineer, hey, we don't know if it's the hardware on the side of my house. We don't know if it's my truck. So why don't we reach out to a local Ford dealership and get another F-150 Lightning that has got this feature enabled to come to my house. We'll register the charging station with that truck and we'll go through a test power cycle to see if the truck automatically switches on. And the Sunrun engineer was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Ford has been a little bit more silent on the issue. I won't say they've said no, but they've gone, because of the strike that was with UAW and because of, changes in priorities, I don't think they have the people that they did have working on this. And I might be speaking out of turn. So if I find out that that's not the case, I will let you know. But it does appear that getting my home integration system working is proving to be an absolute headache. I know that there are just a few other F-150 Lightning owners with the system who are having the same issues. The majority of F-150 Lightning owners who have home integration systems are now not having issues and their trucks are working perfectly. My truck and my charging system is just not vibing. We're not sure if it's that the truck can't see the charging station, because we believe the truck can see the charging station. It just appears that there's, whether it's a broken communication between the truck and the charging station, or whether there's just something else happening, or whether it's faulty firmware, faulty hardware. The Charge Station Pro, which is the thing that initiates all of this power transfer, is just not doing, it's just not doing what it should. And the truck is not doing what it should. And we are in a bit of an impasse until Ford and Sunrun bash their heads together and come out to the house and have me there with my truck and maybe another truck. I don't think the system is going to work. And, you know, I want to be really clear here. I'm not making this video to be sensationalist. This is cutting edge technology and sometimes it goes wrong. At the same point, however, I would be disingenuous if I didn't report on the bad stuff that's happening. Even though I love this truck has been amazing. I would buy it again in a flash, and I would recommend anybody buy this. It's a really reliable truck. It's been amazing. For truck stuff, it's been amazing. It can tow. It can power loads of stuff through the Pro Power system, which has never failed. I can get my motorbike in the back. I can do all these other things, and it is brilliant. But the home integration system, don't go near it. Just don't go near it. It is not reliable. It's not fit for purpose. And yeah, if this doesn't get fixed, and I think we've been patient, a year is longer than most people would wait. If this doesn't get fixed soon, I think my wife is going to want to find some alternative courses of action to try and get this solved. And if that is them removing the home integration system completely at their expense, giving us a full refund for the home integration system, and then putting in a generator hookup so we can run it from the Pro Power in the bed, so be it. We don't want to do that because the Pro Power system only outputs 7 kilowatts, and to run our well pump and everything else, having that extra power is advantageous. And like I say, when the home integration system does work and we've managed to coax it to manually work, it's worked fine. I did that 2 or 3 times in the summer to earn a bit of extra money and it was fine. But it's just not been super reliable. Sorry, I don't have a rosier update, but sometimes being on the bleeding edge means you're gonna get cut. Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure that we can be 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There's a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just under $11 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters: David McConnell, Dennis Lyon, James Cardelli, Bennett Yee, Bigfoot Research, Ben Dreidel, Stuart Jocelyn, Cole, Che Filler 5555, Charles Stanton, Daniel Snyder, and Scotty. Thanks for all becoming part of the TE crew. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at. We'll throw in a link to the address below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below too. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving!